Hey, Brad, I guess just to start off, how do you kind of evaluate this 22 player class as a whole and what excites you about it?
Yeah, I think if you take a look at the class as a whole, obviously the key focal points for us, aside from adding, talent to the farm system, is finding guys that were solid defensively up the middle, especially yesterday and today with position players and pitchers. As far as guys that Arsenal wise, we think that we can help improve upon whether it's their fastball, their breaking ball, and a lot of those picks that you saw today kind of had that in mind, or it was the focal point of that.
Next up is Dan Connolly.
All right, we'll get out of the way, Brad. 12 pitchers. Give me your thought on going that many times into the pitching well and what kind of stood out about this group overall.
Yeah, as I mentioned yesterday, we really liked our options as far as the pitching, especially on day 2 and day 3 of the draft. Our scouting analyst team did a fantastic job of identifying guys and having unique traits as far as the arsenal that we're looking for, whether it's hop on the fastball, sweepy on the slider, or in depth on the curveball. So really excited about the crop that we got today and yesterday, and really looking forward to getting them down to Sarasota to work with our player development staff.
Zach Silver.
Hey, Brad, one pitcher in particular with Jared Beck, 7 feet tall. What stood out to you guys about him? And I guess more generally, the confidence you guys have in maybe finding a pitcher that isn't atypical and still being able to work with them and owning whatever arsenal you guys believe in. Yeah,
so Jared's a really interesting case. Brandon Verley, our scout in Florida, he's at St. Leo, which is a smaller Division II school. Saw him and he was 88 to 91, and the stuff really ticked up a little bit later on, actually reaching up to 95. We think that we can help his breaking ball as well, and he's also got a changeup that he's been working on. So as far as, obviously he's a little bit of a bigger guy, and that might take a little bit more, I guess, in terms of delivery, refining his mechanics. But I have the utmost faith in our player development staff, our pitching coaches, that they'll be able to get the most out of his ability.
Rich Dubroff.
Hey, Brad, if fans look at a lot of these stats, they see a number of these pitchers have like higher ERAs. What is that important? Is that important to you, or what stats are you looking at that attract you to these guys?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, I think what's really interesting about college baseball in general is that home runs, run production, offense in general is up across the board, this year from last year. So obviously we are taking that into account. We're adjusting for that. We also like to look at strikeouts. Obviously that's a big thing, the swing and misses. A lot of these guys have, over 10 strikeouts per 9. And ultimately, we also, keep in mind that college defenses aren't always necessarily the most fleet of foot defenders out there for some of these guys, not to knock their programs or anything. But when they do get in the pro ball, they'll have, guys will be able to range left and right a little bit better in the infield, and we'll get some more balls than most college programs, the guys that they have out there will.
Nathan Ruiz.
Hey, Brad, 2 separate things. I know, to go back to the pitching question, I know that you've said frequently you guys have them on top of your board. Is there anything different this year that allowed them to fall at the top when you were picking more frequently? Is that kind of just the luck of the draw? And then secondarily and separately, was Carter Young a guy you guys were surprised to see there still, and do you think you'll have any issues signing him?
Yeah, as far as the pitching question, as I've always said, it's always kind of been the luck of the draw here. We always in the past have kind of made a special focus and intend to look for pitching on day 3 because of the way that our picks panned out from previous days. But obviously that wasn't the case this year. So it really was kind of the luck of the draw. And then regarding Carter, obviously whenever you have a guy that has proven himself that he can play in the SEC, is a capable defender at shortstop, and has shown power, not so much potentially this year, but last year had a little bit of a down year this year. So that's potentially why he dropped. But we're really excited to add him to this class, and we'll obviously see what happens as we, open negotiations and go from there.
Dan Connolly.
Just following up on the negotiations there, Brad, you guys have been really good at signing your picks. I don't think you guys had a 20th rounder or higher not be signed since you and Mike took over. Do you feel that trend is going to continue? And again, Walters and Young are both guys that seem like they could be more difficult to sign. Can you give us a sense, especially I guess now on Walters, whether he's another guy that might be a little more difficult to sign?
Yeah, I won't talk about any individual cases. I will say that obviously the intent is to sign all these guys. That's what we're hoping to do. If, gun to my head, if you were asking me if I'm optimistic we're going to sign all of them, I'm probably not as optimistic as I would have been in years past. But obviously the intent is to sign each and every one of these guys because we do want them in the system. That's why we took them.
Mioli.
Brad, when we talked to Mike a couple weeks ago before the draft, he said that there was a feeling when things got better in Houston, even as they were drafting, that the momentum of the big league team and the overall state of the organization really bled into the draft room and made it a positive experience. I'm sure it was stressful in the moment, but did you see any of that? Did you see any of that over these last few days compared to the general environment and mood of the organization in years past?
Yeah, for me, it's always kind of been similar year in, year out, regardless how the major league club is doing. Obviously, really excited about, the improvements that they've had and the improvements in the farm system the last few years. But I mean, the way that we run things here as far as a draft, the scouting department is, we're a very laid back, relaxed group. We love working together, whether it's our analysts or our scouts. And it's been a tremendous ride, the last 4 drafts with Mike and Sig on board. So, but we're a pretty relaxed, casual group, as you guys, have probably heard. We had the home run chain that going around each time that a player was selected. So we have a lot of fun. We enjoy it.
Last question is from Dan Connolly.
When you guys announced Alden Mathis, there was a X next to his name at first, as far as what position he played, and obviously he's both utility. He's been utility and outfield and pitcher. Is he a two-way guy? Where do you see him right now?
We're going to develop him as a center fielder. We like the athleticism, how well he moves out there. He does have, significant arm strength. It's an above average arm, but yeah, we're planning to develop him as a center fielder.
All right. That's all the questions we have. Thanks so much for joining us, Brad.
Thanks, guys. Take care.